Good morning and welcome to Title Talk. It's Monday, July 22nd. I'm Karen Hamstra, and let me show you some new books. The first one is a mystery by Miranda James called The Pawful Truth. I believe Miranda James started out in mass market paperbacks, and she has made the leap to hardcover fiction, and I think she's really done quite well for herself. This one, of course, involves animals. We've got the cat and the birds and the dog all on the front, dogs on the front cover. It does revolve the story around a librarian, Charlie Harris, who decides to go back to school, and he and his Maine Coon cat Diesel find themselves entangled in a deadly lovers' quarrel on campus. We've seen Diesel before in numerous other books, and of course there is a death. Dixie Belle Compton, another mature student, and I'm sure that he and Diesel are gonna proceed and solve the crime. It's just kind of a given, but it's always interesting to see how the details play out. Now, this is a nonfiction book called The Next Right Thing. It is a simple, soulful practice for making decisions. If you maybe have a big decision and you want more than anything to have peace, clarity, and a nudge in the right direction, this might be just the book for you. It will help you to clear the decision-making chaos, quiet the fear of choosing wrong, and find the courage to finally decide without regret or second-guessing. And the author is Emily P. Freeman. It says she is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, and it can be found on the new bookshelf at $248.4. And this is another nonfiction book, The Drama of Celebrity by Sharon Marcus. You can see it has a really nice flashy cover, and it is about why we have celebrities, what makes people so interested in some of these other people who start out no different than ourselves. How do they rise to celebrity? Why do we idolize them? All that kind of thing. It is at $306 MOR, also on the new bookshelf, of course. And last but not least, for nonfiction, Plant Parenting. Easy ways to make more houseplants, vegetables, and flowers. So this is about plant propagation. If you have a plant you love and all your friends admire it and say, could you give me a start of that? And you are just clueless on how to do it, this is the book for you. It will tell you how to become a plant parent. Who knew there even was such a thing as plant parents, but why not? The book is by Leslie F. Halleck, Halleck, and it can be found at 631.53, also on the new bookshelf. And back to some more fiction books. This one is by Dan Mooney, The Great Unexpected, a novel. You can see the two old geezers on the park bench here. It's an unlikely friendship and an adventure of a lifetime. The main character, Joel, lives in a nursing home. His roommate, a new roommate moves in, Frank, and he is a former soap opera actor. And when he moves in, things really start to happen. They come up with a plan to, quote unquote, escape from the nursing home. And it says, though they couldn't be more opposite, they form a fast friendship. And Frank is the only one who listens to and stands up for Joel. And so it's filled with colorful characters, sparkling humor, and deep emotion. The Great Unexpected by Dan Mooney. Here is a sequel. The first book was My Italian Bulldozer. This is by the very prolific author Alexander McCall Smith. This one is the second worst restaurant in France. It also features the British food critic Paul Stewart, and this time he's off to check out French restaurants. His cousin Chloe convinces her to come stay with him in France, and they just have all kinds of mishaps and crazy things happen, mostly at the local restaurant in town, which apparently they basically have to take over the running of the restaurant. So that sounds like it would be fun. I know the first My novel, the Bulldozer novel, was really quite a hoot. Here is a brand new author to the United States. She's from Singapore, and it is called Delayed Rays of a Star by Amanda Lee Coe. It is about 3 Hollywood movie stars. Starts in 1928, and it is a dazzling, groundbreaking novel following the lives of 3 women, Marlene Dietrich, Anna May Wong, and Leni Riefenstahl, cinema legends who lit up the 20th century. It tells how they meet at a Berlin soiree and how their lives are intertwined after that. You may know that Leni Riefenstahl was Hitler's chosen filmmaker. She made the famous films of the Berlin Olympics, and of course you have probably all heard of the Hollywood star Marlene Dietrich. And Anna May Wong was the world's first Chinese American star. And they all have their own points of view, of course, and it says the author's playful wise prose guides the reader dexterously around murky questions of identity, complexity, desire, and difference. So, Delayed Rays of a Star, Amanda Lee Coe, K-O-E. That is historical fiction. And then our last regular fiction book is Golden Hour by Beatrice Williams. This is a mystery book, but also a bit of a historical fiction book. It takes place in the Bahamas in 1941. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor are down in the Bahamas, and a reporter arrives from New York Magazine, Leonora Lulu Randolph, and she knows that American readers have an insatiable appetite for news of the Duke and Duchess, so she has come down to get the scoop. After she gets there, Nassau's wealthiest man is murdered in one of the most notorious cases of the century, and the resulting cover-up reeks of royal privilege. This Lulu embarks on a journey to London and beyond to pick up Thorpe's complicated family history, a fateful love affair, a wartime tragedy, and a mother from whom all joy is stolen. It says the stories of 2 unforgettable women thread together in this extraordinary epic of espionage, sacrifice, love, and courage set against a shocking crime and the rise and fall of a legendary royal couple. The Golden Hour by Beatrice Williams. She's normally pretty popular, so I was kind of surprised that there are no holds on this book. I also have the books. These are large print, and we've already talked about these books in the regular print editions, so I'm not going to go over their plots, but Melanie Benjamin's new book, Mistress of the Ritz, is now out in large print and available. And then, I don't know that we've talked about this book. Maybe this is a new Barry Eisler book, The Killer Collective. It is a suspense novel and takes place in Seattle. The Seattle police investigation of an international child pornography ring that gets too close to certain powerful people, and sex crimes detective Leah Lone becomes the target of a hit that barely goes awry, a hit that had been offered to John Rain, a retired specialist in natural causes. So they suspect the FBI was behind the attack, and Livia reaches out to a former Marine sniper. Together they assemble an ad hoc group to identify and neutralize the threat. So you can read all about it in The Killer Collective by Barry Eisler. Denise Hunter has a new book called Saving Grace, and this is part of the New Heights series. She is a very popular Christian author. And this one says, as if the jolt of becoming a single mom to her 2 sons wasn't enough, Natalie Coombs faces new stresses as the director of a crisis pregnancy center. A teenager who comes back in for testing brings back haunting memories of another pregnant girl whose life tragically ended in suicide. Desperate to reach this new client before it's too late, Natalie crosses professional boundaries and does things she would have never considered before. After incurring the wrath of a mysterious assailant, Natalie is forced to consider the cost of following her convictions amid betrayal, danger, and strained relationships. So if that sounds like the book for you, you'll want to check it out. Denise Hunter, Saving Grace. This is by Amanda Dykes, Whose Waves These Are. This is also large print. This is a romance novel, a bit of a historical romance. In the wake of World War II, a grieving fisherman submits a poem to a local newspaper as a rallying cry for hope. And he quotes the words, "Send me a rock for the person you lost, and I will build something life-giving." Robert Bliss's humble words change the tide of a nation. Boxes of rocks inundate the tiny coastal Maine town, and he sets his calloused hands to work until tragedy strikes. Decades later, Annie Bliss is summoned to Ansel by the Sea when her great-uncle, who gave her refuge during the hardest summer of her youth, needs help. A wall of heavy boxes hiding in his home and memories of stone ruins on a nearby island ignite a fire in Annie's anthropologist's soul to uncover answers. Amanda Dykes, Whose Waves These Are. And our last book for the day is also large print romance, Robin Lee Hatcher, Cross My Heart. This one is a legacy of faith novel. It says, when Ashley Showalter and Ben Henning meet, they discover they have much in common. Ashley has a horse rescue farm, and Ben needs her help and expertise to start an equine therapy program. As they spend time together, they both feel there could be something more between them. But Ben is a recovering alcoholic, and Ashley, whose brother is an addict, has promised herself she will never walk knowingly into the chaos created by addiction. Ben knows that with God, all things are possible, but will Ashley give love a chance? Or will her brother's mistakes and pains of her past jeopardize her future with Ben? Read the book to find out. I hope maybe you've seen something that you might like to read. If so, call us and we'll either hold it for you or put a hold on it so you can be one of the next people to read it. We'll see you next week. Happy reading.